made it back onto the ferry going back to San Fran this morning, with only a few minutes to spare to tap on my Clipper card and all that. That ferry, I believe, the one you're seeing now in frame, I believe that one goes to Oracle Park, where the San Francisco Giants, and that's their baseball team, that's where they play. The one I'm on goes to the San Francisco Ferry Terminal on the Embarcadero. I'm out here on the fantail, or it would be a fantail if this was a naval vessel. But the fantail's typically on the stern of the ship, and that's where I am. And off at the distance, I think that bridge goes to the east toward Richmond, Pittsburgh. Don't worry. See the Golden Gate.
But so the first
And I think we're about to cast off.
first two is
In fact, we've definitely cast off. San Francisco, here I come. Again. Now that I'm safely ashore here in San Fran, I can show you my traveling partner for this weekend. That's right, it's the Nitori Fumo. Haven't really featured her on any of my traveling videos before. I think I really only showed her off on YouTube when I first got her. I would have shown this to you sooner, but I didn't want her getting blown away while we were at speed out on the bay. Anyway, now to go top up my Clipper card for today's journey, which will include the Market Street Heritage Railway, full of vintage PCC streetcars and so forth, as well as riding around on Barton Muni. I might just grab some cable cars as well. I mean, you have to do that when you're in San Francisco. See you then. Here's another interesting thing about transit in San Francisco: trolley buses. One of only a handful of cities that even have trolley buses. And unfortunately, the Market Street Railway isn't running its trolleys today. That's being taken care of by shuttle buses. So I won't be able to see that today. Well, at least there'll be trolleys at the Western Railway Museum tomorrow. Well, here it is, the cable car. Thing is, though, they're going to stop running these at about 2 or so. So if I want to ride these, I mean really ride them, I better do so now. Anyway, once upon a time, San Francisco had a massive cable car network. But then the earthquake of 1906 happened, and only those lines that went up Russian and Nob Hills, where the grades were too steep even for electric cars, only those lines were kept. And they've been running along California, Powell, Mason, and Hyde Avenues ever since. For a moment there, I thought they were about to get underway. Ah, wait, there it goes. See what Guy did there? That's the grip that engages, well, a grip to catch the constantly moving cable underneath the streets. And up ahead, I believe that's Nob Hill. Russian Hill is off that away, I believe. That car will be next. And all I need to do to board that is to, well, show my Clipper card to the conductor. I'm in. Which means so's Nitori. We'll be underway in just a couple of minutes.
For me. You gotta go over and look forward, yes. Yeah. Trust me. Thank you. Shoot me.
And here we go.
Can't just buy the fast food.
Oui, ben, je vais essayer.
Unless you buy it.
On s'arrête en haut de la porte.
You can buy it.
Ben, je vais essayer de filmer quand ça va grimper.
Inside so you guys can see.
Just waiting for the cross traffic to clear. Then we'll be back on our way.
Yeah, so when you get off of Power Street, transfer in and go all the way to the right, to the end.
Oh.
That's Fourth and Market. Actually, from there you only walk 1 block.
Oh, good. So get off at
Go
Cal.
take anything downhill, and then get off the last stop. That's Fourth and Market. 1 block over is Fisherman.
And then that's where it is.
Yeah, I think it's on Fisherman. It's on third dimension. So you get off last stop, walk the market, 1 block over mission. So it's on third dimension. You will see the number.
So get off at Cal.
Get off the last stop. That will kick you out.
Off here the last
No,
time.
no, no. There last stop. You have to transfer the power and then get off the last stop the power.
Just look at the interior of these things. That old tiny clerestory roof. Meanwhile, here's the view out of the rear window. Very nice. But Knob Hill is not very far away from here.
District. So you get off.
Oh, don't mind the conductor. He's just
You
helping
transfer bus number 30.
other tourists.
It will bring you right there. Yeah. It's on Marina District. Yeah, I say it's wrong.
We're about to start our ascent up Knob Hill. Or at the very least, this is the prelude to Knob Hill. Okay, here's Knob Hill. You're gonna stand on the running board and you need to hold on tight. Alright. Here's Grant Street.
please step up or go inside. Okay? Yeah, you can hang down there.
Right, that's why we
Hold on, moving. Hold on, moving. Thank you.
But yeah, steep grades like this were definitely made for cable cars.
Look straight. You see those buses? On your right hand side, see that shelter? See the shelter on your right hand? There's a bus stop right there.
Okay.
So you go down the tunnel and keep walking right there. See the signal?
Okay.
You walk a little bit, there's a stop there.
Okay, so get off here.
Get off here, walk down the tunnel, go down the stairs, and keep walking, okay?
So the 30.
30. That's the driver too.
Thank you.
Well, the Powell Pine cars were all full, so here I am in a Powell Mason car. At least we're going down Knob Hill, and eventually we will descend Russian Hill.
Every time I go home, my wife says, "Hey, I have to."
Now that I'm at the end of the line, I want to show you something. See that right there? That's the turntable to allow the cable cars to go back toward downtown. See, unlike the California Avenue cars, these cars are single-enders. The controls are only on one end. Here's the turntable in action. They then push the car into position and take the next lot up the hill. I would have filmed the ride down the hill myself, but the car was way too crowded. I'm now inside the Musée Mécanique at Fisherman's Wharf. Just popped a quarter into this thing to light this lamp up. And it really is beautiful when lit, just like it says down here. Looks like one of those old-fashioned Tiffany lamps or something. Not only does this museum have old-timey arcade machines, also shows off a few mechanical oddities. This is supposedly the Steam Flyer, a steam-powered motorcycle built in the 19-teens. But what a place this is. I gotta check it out some more. Now as I roam around Fisherman's Wharf, I find out that they actually have a real World War II submarine. This is USS Pampanito, a Palau-class boat. Very nice. So the tour starts all the way astern, it appears. You really have to watch your head in these submarines because there's only so much space to be afforded in one of these things. But yeah, talk about living in close quarters with all your shipmates. That's just life on a submarine. Here's the bunk space where everybody slept. Again, you're always living in close quarters with your shipmates. Or, since submarines were always referred to as boats and not ships, no, I guess they'd still be called shipmates, even though, as I said, submarines are properly referred to as boats. Here's a service hatch, I believe. You're not actually supposed to use that for regular entrance and exit. That's further up ahead. Now we're just under the conning tower, the nerve center of this boat. Wonder if this is where Gene Roddenberry got the idea for the bridge of the Starship Enterprise from. I know he took a lot of inspiration from naval vessels, but still, this has to be, at least in part, some kind of inspiration. Anyway, let's move on. But not before I get all this. This torpedo room, which I'm in now, must have been the inspiration for the torpedo bays on the Enterprise, at least in the movies anyway. And it was naval torpedoes like this that served as the inspiration for the photon torpedoes from Star Trek. There's the exit. Time to get back up on deck. One last thing I should point out is that up until the end of World War II, submarines had deck guns. This was an anti-aircraft gun, quite possibly 40 millimeter or something. There's a larger deck gun for shooting at ships. Somewhere back here. Quite possibly 4 or 5 inch caliber. And there's just a part of the Well, that was pretty fun, I'd say. But now to grab some lunch and then go back to riding around on trains. I mean, I've already been denied the Market Street Railway streetcars because buses have replaced those. Boo hiss. At least I can take in Bart and Muni. See you back at Embarcadero. For my last bit of filming today, I'm going to do the Muni Metro out to West Portal Station. I can apparently take the K, the L, or the M, one of which I believe is arriving right now. So, let's get on. Now that I've arrived at West Portal Station, I want to show you. You see the section of floor behind the closing doors? Once this train leaves West Portal, that's going to drop down to become stairs for low-level boarding. Meanwhile, this train, an L train, will be heading for the San Francisco Zoo momentarily. Okay, so it's the... Did I say J? I meant L. Anyway, I believe San Francisco MTA now only runs these Siemens-built S200 cars. All the Bredas have already been retired, if I remember correctly. That tunnel I came out of moments ago is the Twin Peaks Tunnel. It's a tunnel that's basically ensured the survival of San Francisco's streetcar system, which in turn allowed it to become today's Muni. Well, certainly one of the reasons, anyway. Okay, it's time to head back now. Too close there. streetcars I mentioned earlier have been a feature on every modern light rail vehicle that Muni has ever run, all the way from the Boeing Vertals in the 70s and 80s.
Station.
Now we're about to enter the Twin Peaks Tunnel. Let's see if I can... Not doing it very well, huh? Maybe I should actually use, one of those professional photographer's hoods or whatever. And my phone's nearly out of power, so I better stop it here for today. See you tomorrow at the Western Railway Museum.